Good morning.
Welcome to Morning Coffee.
Go hit subscribe and ring that bell, and we'll be right back.
I'm Matt, and this is my wife, Maria. We've been asked by friends and family how it is that our marriage works so well through all of life's crazy. Through better or worse, through sickness and health, till death do us part. So we decided to talk about how two imperfect people have been able to create a strong marriage. Welcome to Morning Coffee.
And we're back.
Every time. She waits until I'm taking a sip.
I do. So, my turn. Today, we were talking about dating our kids. We talked about dating each other and the importance of that, but also now the importance of spending time with the kids. Even one-on-one. Okay, if you hear heavy breathing, I promise it's our dogs. I'll give you a picture of them. Roxy is the loudest breather there is. Roxy. Shh. Anywho. So I just want to tell you like a couple things, at least for me, that I found with spending one-on-one time with the kids, and then Matt can expand on his one-on-one ice cream time with the kids, because that's always what they did, was ice cream time. No, not always. You and Bubby did other things, Caleb, our son. But I want to tell you one of my favorite stories. So when Caleb was just starting kindergarten, we went on a mommy and son date, and I tried to do like every other week was his, and then every other week was Sierra's. And so Caleb and I are having dinner at Burger King, which was his favorite place to go. And he asked me, like, how do you know when you found your rib? I'm like, what do you mean? And he was like, you know, like Adam and Eve. And I said, well, you're going to date a lot of people, and you'll probably have a high school sweetheart, and then go off to college and date somebody, and then you'll probably find someone. He's like, I think I found her. And I'm like, eh. And he goes, no, her name is Gabby, and she's in my kindergarten class. Well, in my class is what he said. And she's my rib. And I'm like, well, you'll probably... And he's like, no, she's my rib. Needless to say, fast forward many years later, they ended up getting married. And, look, y'all ask how you know. When you know, you know. Even at 6 years old, he knew. So he just said that that's who he was going to marry, and that's what happened. They got married. They were 22, I believe, when they got married. If not, they'll correct me. They've been married for 4 years now and gave us a beautiful granddaughter. We're very thankful. And then with Sierra, when I did the one-on-one dates with her, she would tell me about her little friends, and it helped me to know who she shouldn't be going over to, whose house, or what to be concerned about, because when you just open up that dialogue for one-on-one conversation, they'll say everything. It may start out hard, but if you just give them the open dialogue and your time with no phone, just, hey, let's spend time together, let's sit here and talk, whatever, they will. Dogs are running all around right now, and cats acting crazy. Y'all just don't know. But yeah, just giving them that opportunity to have that time with you and be able to share dialogue with you, they'll tell you things, and then you'll know about little Sally Sue, and you'll know that you don't want her going over to Sally Sue's house. I don't know who Sally Sue is. She never had a friend named Sally Sue. But anywho.
You guys will notice that anytime she makes up names, you can tell she's from the country of Virginia. Out in the country. In Virginia.
Because like Billy Bob, Sally Sue, Jimmy Jams.
I don't even know what that is.
Me either. But what was your experience with spending one-on-one time with them as a...
with Caleb, I guess it was considered guy time. Like, it really depended on what stage of life he was in. Because we went, so like when he was younger, it was like, what kind of things, we would just do whatever he liked to do at the time. A lot of it was video games, which I was perfectly okay with. But sometimes it was like going and hanging out, going to the movies, whatever. It was just guys hanging out, and then we would just talk about whatever was going on in his life at the time. As he got older, like into high school, for a while we actually got up at 4 o'clock in the morning and would go to the gym in the morning, and then I would take him to school. So that was our like bonding time, and we would just talk about whatever was going on in life. And high school was when you're in high school, you're planning for your future, so we would talk about what he wants to do in the future. If we were driving his friends with him, it was also a time to like get into their lives as well. And he actually had a lot of friends that didn't have dads at home. So it was interesting to see their perspectives, and also a privilege to kind of be even just a temporary guy presence in his life. I don't think they can hear him. Don't worry about it. With Sierra, the primary goal was always to get ice cream. That was pretty much the goal. But she didn't tell me as much about... No, I take that back. She did tell me about her friends, but I think that you probably dug deeper than I did.
Didn't have to. She just talked.
Yeah. Sometimes she would just kind of vent about just
being mad at her mom.
Being mad at her mom or her dad or whatever. Like, it was really just a time for her to vent. And so I would just let her vent. And I knew that from a lot of experience. When it comes, guys, piece of advice for you. When it comes to any female, whether it's girlfriend, wife, daughter, doesn't matter. I might be stereotyping this, but this is my experience. When she's saying something to you, the answer sometimes is just shut up. When I've counseled young men in the past who are looking to date or are getting serious in relationships, I've told them when your significant other starts telling you something, stop them and ask them, are you looking for advice or are you just venting? And then allow them to answer, and then let them continue. Because then you know how to position yourself. And they've prepared you to shut up if you need to shut up. Because sometimes you just need to shut up. So yeah, that was my experiences. Anytime I could sneak in ice cream, that was always a plus.
And Sierra she knew that. So she would be like, Matt, I need ice cream. I'm having an ice cream moment. Especially if she was aggravated with me. She would be like, Matt, I'm having an ice cream moment. But I wanted to touch on base on something you said about the kids and their friends. And so Caleb had a group of friends in high school that almost every Friday night they came to our house. It was Friday night, family night. And we would get Little Caesars pizzas and play games, whether it was Rock Band or Life or Uno, whatever. And that's what it would start out as, but it always ended up in conversation with them. They just wanted someone that would listen to them and talk with them, and it made a difference. And I was glad to have our house as the house that they wanted to hang out at. I actually threw a Sweet 16 for all the friends. Every single one of them had their Sweet 16 at our house. They talked about missing the parts of their childhood.
I don't know why our animals are acting up right now.
Perry is being a brat right now. Stop it. Come here. And they talked about missing their childhood and like things they used to do, like having an Easter egg hunt and stuff. So we threw an Easter egg hunt for high school students and made Easter baskets for them. And I still sent them out for a couple years after while they were in college, and some of them still get them now. And we maintained that relationship with all those kids into their adulthood.
Even now.
Yeah, now.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, one of them is coming here in March, and she texted me the other day and let us know so that we can do dinner. We made an impact on their life because we were willing to take the time to listen, and it meant a lot to them. And for us, we did it because we wanted to know what was going on in our kids' lives.
I'd like to amend that. We took the time to listen and not judge them.
Yeah.
Because we think back to when you were a teenager. You were probably a dumb teenager. If you were anything like me, you were.
Not me, sweet angel.
So, I think the reason they felt safe to have conversations was because they knew they wouldn't feel judged. That didn't mean we weren't going to have a conversation about what the right decision would be.
We had some hard conversations.
Yeah, but they knew that we were having the conversation because we cared about them and we wanted to see them have a good life and move forward making better decisions, so we would help them figure out what that is. But not in a judgmental way. And that was the biggest difference.
Yeah. Can you hear that? That's Zeus drinking water. Anywho, yeah, I would say, so we have a friend who he goes on dates with his girls now. Melts my heart every time he does. Like, I love seeing him with his girls, and it will...
Are you talking about Kevin?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm talking about our friend Kevin. He has a blog. It's called...
He has a podcast.
Yes, a podcast.
Called Win by Design. Really
good. You should go listen to it. But he spends time with his girls. He's a really good dad.
Every week.
And he chisels out that time. And it just blesses my heart to see that, because sometimes we get so caught up in everyday life and that we forget that we need to take that time. I'm telling you, it will make a huge difference just having that one-on-one time with the kids. I have twin nephews, twin nieces, uncles, aunts, blah, blah, blah. And my nephews, trying to get them away from each other was hard. And same with our nieces. Yeah, same thing. Like one-on-one time was hard because they were so used to being together. So, hey, if you have twins, I highly suggest you start that at an early age so they get used to having that individual time and also learning to have their own relationships and not always just counting on each other. That was just a side note. I was just thinking about how hard it was for them because we treated them as one for so long. But yeah, anything else?
Yes. So even now, now that our kids are grown and married and gave us a granddaughter, the only thing I like more than ice cream now is my granddaughter. So, it's still important to hang out. So we try to, with our daughter and son-in-law, we do at least once a month. We do all four of us hanging out, whether it's game night or dinner, whatever the case may be, and just kind of catch up. We're around each other quite a bit anyway, so we're around each other enough that we have like day-to-day conversations or like weekly conversations about life and what's going on. So it's not like there's major things that we're catching up on, but it's kind of a good like reset and hey, let's just devote an entire night of just doing something, the four of us.
And let me tell you, we have to get on their calendar a month in advance because they're so busy.
Yeah.
But same with Caleb and Gabby. Like, we make it a point to text.
Yeah.
And FaceTime if we can, because that's even better.
And when we go out there, I try to steal Caleb for a couple of hours just to do guy time and, you know, check in and make sure everything's okay. So, yeah. It might be more difficult. They have lives to live when they get into adulthood. So you have to be aware of that. But you also have to, as the parent of grown ones, life gets crazy for them. So sometimes you have to adjust and be a little more flexible, especially since we can be more flexible. We work from wherever we are. So we'll be out there in a couple of weeks. And so we'll be able to hang out. We can work from there. So we get to be a little more flexible while they can't. And you just do what you got to do in order to be able to spend that time.
Yeah. Where this will always be the number one relationship, family still is a priority. And we made it a point to let the kids know, like, this comes first, but you are right there. Like, we love you, we want to spend time with you, but you have to understand this comes first. And I would like to say that we've made a good balance of that. And
you'd have to ask our kids, honestly.
And that we've been a good example. But yeah, I hope that someone got something good out of this. And anything else?
Just remember that it's not your fault. It's not your kids' fault that they're here in the world. It's yours. So you need to be the one to initiate and to make sacrifices and to guide them. And you're the one responsible for making sure that relationship grows well. Because you're the reason they're here in the first place. Yeah. So take responsibility for it and do what you have to do in order to make... Our goal was always to figure out how to make their lives better than ours were. And I think we've done a good job of that. Again, you'd have to ask them. And I would give you the same challenge to make sure that, or to do everything you can so that your children's lives are better than your life was.
And look, that's just what worked for us.
Yeah.
So
every kid is different, every parent is different, every relationship is different.
Yeah.
But you have to put the work in to figure out how it works best.
And
it's a lot of trial and error.
When you said every child's different, we'll talk about discipline on another day and what worked for Caleb and what worked for Sierra and how she tried to use reverse psychology with me at like 5. But anyhow, that's for a different day.
I think that's it.
All right. Well, until next time, make sure you love yourself.
And love each other.
And we'll talk to you later.
See ya.
Bye.